On the microphone. Hello, you took your time, didn't you? Hello, hello. Ah, yes, I was just getting ready to start the fire. If you'd like to come over here as I do. No. Let's. Lighting a fire is always a very important thing to do when camping, but you have to know how to do it. And there's always a method. You have to get your kindling and your heat. The heat is the most difficult part. You can find kindling anywhere, little pieces of cotton or tiny ground straw. The difficult part is making it hot enough, making it warm enough. And in the modern day, this is much easier. You just get a quick lighter, or if you're a divine being, you just excite the particles of the kindling and they naturally warm up and fire. Of course, you have to keep the fire burning, even with all the effort it took to get it started. uh, uh, well, I've already spoken up a bit, but of course, the most important thing is to nurture the fire. The fire can't exist without you. And in a true survival situation, you can't exist without the fire either. You're dependent on each other. You have a relationship. One keeps you warm and you keep it alive. You keep feeding it and it keeps growing warmer and warmer, lighting up more of the night than before, giving you the light to see, even in the dim dark. Ooh, that's fun. I do want to hear from some more of you, though. We've only had one person making all the choices. Surely you're not all so indecisive. Indeed, it's your story now. But what shall we do? Shall we tell scary stories by the fireplace or roast marshmallows? Roast marshmallows with okra is peak fiction. It is not fiction now, is it? Now it is fact. For it does seem that we will, in fact, be roasting some marshmallows. Peak faction? Well, it's either fact or fiction. It's hard to say there's really an in-between. But I suppose that's the land of subjectivity. Now then, here's how this is gonna go. Oh, here's your marshmallow. Look at it, it's absolutely perfectly ripe. Is that the word for it? Screamed she, yes. And now here's how this goes. Oh, you're sitting here and you're sitting there perfectly roasting the marshmallow on the stick, rotating it at exactly the right rate to get it to a perfect golden brown. Yes. But now, and you have a perfect marshmallow here, I will ask you a series of questions. And for every question you get wrong, I will burn the marshmallow just a little bit more. So, the first question you've already answered. How do you roast your marshmallows? You look perfectly golden brown all around the marshmallows. Is that so? Perfectly golden brown, soft gooey inside. Well, that does definitely sound like the perfect marshmallow. So for that, I will burn it just a little bit. Gets a little darker, you can barely tell. The next question. What would you do for me in general? Would you do anything for me? Would you only do some things for me? Or would you do nothing at all for me? Oh, sorry. It's quite hard to manage all the individual bits of audio. And for that, I'll unburn the marshmallow just a bit. That was my mistake. But the question stands. Almost anything. Almost anything. Not anything. Even when you know that there's a right and a wrong answer, that if you answer wrong, the marshmallow will be burned. Excellent. That is correct. Then, this is a very open-ended question. What do you want to change? Do you want to change everything? Do you want to change only some things? Or do you want to change nothing? Assuming in this situation you have the power to change anything. All you must do is snap your fingers What would you want changed? Oh. It's a difficult question, I'm sure. Let me get that song I had ready. There we go, gently in the background. My favorite song, Claire de Lune. Is the question, how much would you change if you had the power to change everything? No, not exactly. The question is, how much would you change if you had the power to change anything? And that could mean everything, or it could mean only a few things, or it could mean nothing at all, even with the opportunity. Oh, and it's the desktop audio. Oh, that's awful. The audio is entirely messed up. Oh my goodness. Awful. I shall start this over. Oh, there's so many details that will... You weren't even able to hear the voice the whole time. Oh. Oh. Awful. This is awful. You couldn't even hear the Tarly speak. I'm tempted to completely restart this stream. That is awful. Ugh. Cannot have a stream without scuff, I suppose. We will do another run at the beginning. You could not hear the blackbird's call. Oh, terrible. All the work I put in. Yes, we will do another run at the beginning. This is my intent. To let you run 2 routes of the many that I prepare. That way I don't waste so many of my resources creating so many different routes, of which you only ever get to see 1 or 2. Well, no, you only get to see 1 route of your routes. I knew I should have done the dress rehearsal. I just didn't think I had the time for it. And granted, I didn't. I was still doing prep work minutes before starting, but still. Oh, my apologies. I will continue, though. The question stands. And you don't have to be specific. You don't have to say exactly what you would want to change if you could. You merely have to say roughly how much, how many things, to what degree you'd use this new power. The only thing you would be willing to change is yourself. Interesting answer. But what if I like you the way you already are? What would you want to change? Make it different. And you don't need to change. I think that's correct. But you shouldn't change or not change for me. But you should recognize the value that you have in being exactly who you are, without a magical power changing you in some way. So I will not burn your marshmallow more. I'll skip ahead a little bit. This question is, do you like it when things are predictable? Always? Only sometimes? Or never? Only sometimes. Life needs both predictable and unpredictable situations. Quite true. Quite true. To know the future is too boring. To guess at it. And that's what the fun is. After all, there'd be no enjoyment in gambling if you knew whether you'd win or lose. That's correct. Let's see. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4 of the questions. Only a few more. You're passing with flying colors so far. The next one is one I quite like. Oh, and be sure to be honest. How often do you lie? How often do you say something that isn't true? And why do you lie? A personal question, I'm sure. But a fun one. And you wouldn't lie to me, would you? No. One thing considered, though, I think we all lie. A bit, occasionally. For a number of reasons. But if you have to say, shall have a bit of anti-water while we roast our marshmallows. Occasionally, usually because of mental gymnastics to protect yourself or someone else. I see. Of course, then we wonder if that's the truth. But this is something that I think. Well, this is more Mono's philosophy. But I personally like it. It has to do with the nature of truth and untruth. If a person says something, it is better to assume that they're being truthful, unless you think they might be lying. If you have reason to doubt them for sure. But otherwise, if you doubt everyone, you will completely lose yourself in paranoia. Then, what would you do for yourself? How far are you willing to go to satisfy your own desires, your own wants? And this is the final question. There is a bonus question, but I will not burn your marshmallow for it, because there's no right or wrong answer to that one. It's a loaded question, isn't it? It is, of course, true. There's some ways of answering that question you might not feel like you should say them. But, well, it's better to be truthful, isn't it? I can say that inside looking I'll turn off Claire de Lune for now. I did prepare some other things. Though this one is a lullaby. I don't think I want to get sleepy just yet. Instead we can listen to the crackling of the fireplace and mimicking of the Olo. You have a fundamental belief that if your happiness hurts someone else, or someone else hurts someone else, then it's not worth striving for. So for you, I don't think that you would go very far for your happiness, but you don't need to be don't need much to be happy in exchange. I see. then, I think it's rather hard to live a life where you never hurt anyone else. Doesn't mean you should do it with reckless abandon. But there will always be others who disapprove of anything, and you shouldn't live for those people. Sometimes hurting others is unavoidable. This is true. Oh, an ad break. Awful. Awful timing. Two minutes. I really do hate these ads. Maybe I should move to streaming on YouTube, since I don't think I'd have to deal with that. That's feeling rather appealing. It's not like I get Discovery on Twitch anyway. And I can't turn off the goddamn ads. Doesn't tell me when they're coming up to snooze them. Unless I keep an eagle's eye watch on the ads manager, which I for some reason cannot embed into OBS. Which if you ask me, is quite BS. Few more seconds. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Welcome back. And now, where was I? Sometimes hurting others is unavoidable. But I do think that you have to figure out what's important to you, what you value, what it is you want to do with your life. And to some extent, it can be important to hurt others, to leave them, to go elsewhere, so that you can continue your own journey. Because if we do not journey, then we stagnate. And when we stagnate, well, we become like stagnant water. We collect the moss which covers us, shields us from the sun, prevents us from joining the flow of water. So for this, I will burn your marshmallow. Because I think sometimes you have to be selfish in order to be your own person. Self-centeredness is an important quality to have sometimes. Oh, Seribot has joined? We didn't go down, did we? It's fair. True. Of course it is. I'm the one who said it. But, here we go. Not counting the unburning I did. You only burn the marshmallow, 2 times. I'm sure it's made of mushrooms. Everything in Sheol seems to be made of some kind of fungus. This is probably some derivative of a mushroom that has been processed into something roughly approximating a marshmallow. Mushmallow. Yes, there we go. So I'll put your marshmallow over there. But I do want to show you all. I do want to burn the entire marshmallow for you. Give me just a moment to duplicate it. There we go. We have a second one. And let's see it burn. Let's put it right in the fire. And watch it slowly burn. Oh, they're both burning. I should have foreseen this. And there we go. Completely burnt. I'll unburn this one back. There we go. Oh, whoops. Soul linked marshmallows. Yep. Then should we tell scary stories then? Or do we want to restart this right from the beginning again? So that we get the full experience correctly. Granted, I'll do it afterwards too. Another way, I should have a bit more anti-water. Down for either. Oh, hello, Hikari. Welcome in. Welcome to Sheol. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. And your button mushroom. We were just deciding, Hikari, if we should, because of some horrible, awful stuff that happened, if we should restart the storyline that we've been going through with proper audio this time, or if we should continue on and tell scary stories for a bit and then restart. And we are currently at an impasse, it seems. Like to see what I cooked up minus scuff? Think starting over would put me at ease? Alright. We will start over. The fire will stop burning, we'll snuff it out, and I will disappear.
It's getting dark, I try to head to the fire pit. Good thing I have my flashlight. The paths are overgrown, completely reclaimed by the nature around the campsite. Which way was the fire pit? 1. I hear birds singing to the left. 2. Down the middle I see pitch black. 3. I see a light and hear a voice on the right. Birds. There aren't any birds in Sheol. Curious, I head down the left path. Holofungus. An invasive species imported from Ghana. It mimics a vocal tract and flexes when wind flows through it to speak. This one mimics birdsong? That's unusual. They usually repeat things they've already heard many times. I hear more birdsong further ahead. Should I? 1. Keep following the birdsong. 2. Head back. I follow the birdsong further. The air is cold. The wind whispers through the trees, beckoning me to follow further. I notice something unnatural, something dangerous. There is metal here. Refined metal. Sunk in the dirt, with bullet holes across its face. I find the bird song, a blackbird song I think. Sung by another Olo. I see more pieces of metal leading toward one path forward. Should I? 1. Follow the scrap metal. 2. Run. I come upon a cave. I hear, not birdsong, but song. I hear a mechanical voice straining against age, singing. I see the machine. Legs damaged, missing one arm, but clearly harmed in a way that can't be seen. Teralim, what happened to you? It speaks. It says, this one is curious what happened to the Teralim in front of it. The Teralim was living in the mountains researching the nature of souls when Asaris discovered it. The Teralim ran but the Saris trapped it in this cave and took the Teralim's name. Devoid of purpose, the Terralime simply exists. The Terralime here is just like the Olofungus. A relic of the past, singing songs that shouldn't be. The Terralime has no name anymore. A WYRM without a name cannot differentiate itself from the world around it. This incapacitates any WYRM. Do I? 1. Feel pity for the nameless WYRM. 2. Feel angry that this WYRM defied Mono and ran away so no one could stop its research. 3. Feel nothing. The poor thing. Without a name, it will just lay there collecting rust until its internal components expire. Should I? 1. Give it a new name. 2. Head back. What name should I give it? Kaya. Upon receiving the new name, they come alive again. They rise up and bash me with their remaining arm before running away. The springs in their legs squeaking as all the rust and moss settled on their body is crushed with every quick step. I was hit pretty hard. I lose consciousness. I finally find the fire pit. Looks like the fire hasn't started yet. Though I think I see a crew preparing to start the fire. Akra?
Oh, hey. You're finally here. You took a while. How was the journey?
Took me a moment to find the right way to the path. Shall we light the fire?
Yes, let us do so. It isn't camping without a fire, I think, right? You gotta have the fire. You must have a fire burning so you can see your friends that you're talking to. You have to nurture the fire. Most importantly, need the warmth, the heat. Camping next to a volcano? Yep, we need a fire, all right. There you go. Even next to a volcano, unless you're you're warming your hands over the caldera, you still need the fire, the smaller heat, the tolerable heat that keeps you warm, keeps your fingers moving, keeps you alive. And so you stack sticks, you build a house for the fire where the wind will not blow it out, but where you can still blow air onto it. And you say, you blow, lightly, heavier next, a little heavier, until finally the sparks start up. You can just barely see it glimmering, and the kindling catches on fire. The sticks start to burn, and finally the young flame clings to the logs and burns bright, illuminating the night like the full moon.
The flame grows from sparking tinder to a stick roasting burn to a log-eating blaze. I can feel the warmth of the flame cleanse the cold night. Akra speaks up.
And now we have our flame. And we have to keep it burning. We have to keep putting logs on it. Luckily, we're in a big forest. There's no shortage of these trees. Yeah, even if tree isn't technically correct, but they're functionally trees. They've been made to look like trees anyway. They work for our purposes.
Should we? 1. Tell scary stories. 2. Roast marshmallows.
We've already roasted marshmallows, so I'm afraid I'm going to take the choice from you here. Let's tell some scary stories, right? That's what you do around a campfire when you're camping. You play games and you tell scary stories. Yes. Then,
Should I start or should Akra start? 1. I start. 2. Akra starts.
who begins? Two. Works for me. So, this is going to work a little differently for each of us. For me, I have a few stories saved, but I don't have enough to tell all. So, I will be telling from memory. I'll be telling the stories I can. And I've been absolutely engulfed by urban legends recently, so I have plenty of stories to tell. Oh, and the fire. Let me turn the fire on. There we go. Get rid of that text bubble. So, whoops. Didn't we do that? dimension move y'all up there, make you a little larger. There we are. So, I don't remember the name of this story, but that doesn't matter. The name is inconsequential. The story goes as follows. It follows the perspective of a young Japanese schoolgirl who, she says, for a while now, there's a boy in the classroom who just spends all day sleeping, not paying attention to anything, just their heads sunk in their arms. One day I walked up to them and asked why they always seemed so sad. They said that one day they were going around their house and they decided to look in the attic. So they lowered the ladder, went up each step, plop, 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 climbing up to the attic. And they were searching through old things there. Old, things that have been collected in the attic, you know, old photographs, little things, and then they moved a bunch of boxes aside and they found a window in the attic that showed a town, a whole town ahead of them. And they went through the window. They'd never seen the town before. And when they looked, you know, they walked around this town. It was a town like any other, but it was just in their attic. And so they went, they talked to the people there, and then they thought, well, this has been quite the adventure, but now I want to, you know, go show it off to my friends or my parents or my siblings. And so they go and they try to go back to the attic, but they can't find the door. And so the girl, interrupting, says, "Oh, well, you found it eventually. You're back now, right?" And then the boy says, "I still haven't found the way out." I don't think I'm doing the story justice, but there's the punchline. Oh no, I have a much better one. So, and I'm taking your turn, I'm being unfair, but this one I want to tell, I'm too eager. A group of friends are going ghost hunting. And so they, you know, they get in their car and they drive over to a house where a family had recently died. And they go through the rooms of the house with, you know, the little EMF kit, trying to find traces of ghosts. And so they go into one room. They say, "This is the room where the mother died." And they turn off the EMF, and they don't get any reading. One of them says, "Oh, let's go into the room where the child was killed." And so they go into the room where the child was killed. They turn on their EMF. They don't find anything. Finally, they say, "Okay, let's go upstairs where the father was killed." And they go into the room where the father was killed. And they turn on their ghost detector, their EMF. They search for cold spots. Nothing. So they all look at each other disappointed and they say, "Oh, I guess maybe they moved on already. Maybe they're not here anymore." And then another one says, well, then what are we going to do for ghost hunting? This is the only haunted place that we know of. And then another one says, oh, there's that house that we saw on our drive here. And one of them says, oh, is it haunted? And then they say, no, there are people living in it. So they say, oh, perfect. And they leave. The end. Now, why is this a horror story? Can you figure it out? It's a thinker, this one. I quite like it. And of course, if you give up, I'll tell you what the trick is. Or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should let it ring around your head until you figure out what the twist is. Why the story is the way that it is. They're gonna keep you thinking about it forever because you weren't ready for it to end. Yeah. They go to the house, they check every room, and there's no ghost activity. Oh, and this isn't a vitally important detail. Oh, hello, 47. Welcome to the Camping with Mono stream. This isn't a vitally important detail, but it's also specified that the family that was killed died under mysterious circumstances. It's still an unsolved murder, which is why they were attracted to that house. Well, I don't think you're gonna figure it out. So move on to the next spooky story. This time, it's your turn. Now don't fret. I'm not putting you on the spot to make up or find your own scary story. Instead, I'm going to give you a little box.
Which story should I tell? 1. Make up a story. 2. The Licking Hand. 3. Hand Hook Car Door Man. 4. The Smiling Man.
Quite a set of choices. Two. Any more votes? It'd be quite awkward if all the people here voted for different ones. I'd have to roll a 4-sided dice. Number 3 sounds like a SpongeBob name for one. Oh, you haven't heard the tale of Handhook Car Doorman? That's a famous one. These are all famous ones. I made sure to pick some of the most well-known ones. Go with 2. Alright. You know the other 2. You know the Smiling Man and the Licking Hand. Those are good ones. Alright. Number 2. Licking Hand. What licked hand?
A young girl was left alone one night as she slept, but was protected by her very large collie dog.
Oh yes. And I should, how do I do this? Announcement. Announce. Telling scary stories. Some, descriptions of gore. TW. And, oh wait, I can't pin that. There we go.
Her parents had told her to lock all the doors and windows, so she did, but the lock on one of the windows was broken. She blocked the window by placing some books against the pane. She ran through the dark hallways of her home back to her bed and got ready to sleep. Later that night, the little girl was woken up by some noises and was frightened. She knew that her dog was right beneath her bed, so she put her hand down so she could feel her dog lick her hand, knowing that her dog would protect her. So she felt the lick, she felt safe again and went back to sleep. Later she woke up again. This time hearing a noise coming from the bathroom. It sounded like water drops, going drip drip. She was frightened again, so she put her hand below her bed once again to feel the lick of her dog. Lick lick lick. She felt safe again and tried to sleep. But the sound of the water was too distracting, so she went to turn off what was probably a leaky faucet. She opened the door to the bathroom and saw her dog. Her dog was hung from the ceiling with blood dripping from it, drip drip. Next to the dog was written in blood, "People lick too." The girl was never heard from again.
The end. Classic. Yes. This is a very popular, scary story. Has lots of variations on it. This is the version, though, that I remember most clearly. It's definitely different when it's delivered by a robotic voice. Yes. That's why I was careful to quickly put that gore trigger. I specifically tried to cut out anything that was especially visceral in any descriptions. Yeah, that one hits like a car crash. Yeah, it's great. Really contextualizes the onomatopoeia of lick, lick, lick. Right after she hears water falling from, well, not water, but drops of something in the bathroom. And it's my turn. This is one story I came upon recently. I have this one written down because I quite like it. This story is called the body. On a night much like this one, a person, perhaps a man, perhaps a woman, perhaps something else, was reclined. They were sitting and thinking late at night in the dark with the lights off. Why were they in the dark thinking? Who knows? They had lost track of their train of thought once they heard a voice from the dark say their name. "Hello?" they asked. "Ha ha! Hello!" the familiar, high-pitched voice responded. This voice did not belong to another person they knew. They cried, "Please, leave me alone. I don't know who you are. Just please leave." Silence. The voice, heavier now, wept. "I just want to love you." The person was confused. The voice, a little more tired sounding, continued, "I just want to know you." A light turned on. "Oh, ad break, are you serious? I will kill you. I will kill Twitch. I will kill the CEO of Twitch with a gun. I will walk into the office. I will pull the trigger. And I will blow their brains out. I will make them look like the protagonists of one of these fucking horror stories, and people will be telling that story for ages past of when Akra from Monochrome TV walked up to Mr. Twitch CEO, blew his brains out and killed him dead because an ad ran during a stream when they were telling when they were carefully telling a story. And an ad shows up, and guess what? You don't get a warning unless you're paying attention to the fucking ad manager. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill them. I'm gonna kill them dead. This is, legally speaking, this is a joke. I will do far worse things. No. Oh god. I'm completely restart. This has to be done in one take. Oh my god. It's giving me a headache. Okay, we're back. I'm starting over from the beginning. On a night, much like this one, a person, perhaps a man, perhaps a woman, perhaps something else, was reclined. They were sitting and thinking, late at night in the dark with the lights off. Why were they in the dark thinking? Who knows? They lost track of their train of thought once they heard a voice from the dark say their name. "Hello?" they asked. "Ha ha, hello!" the familiar high-pitched voice responded. The voice did not belong to another person they knew. They cried, "Please, leave me alone. I don't know who you are. Just please leave." Silence. The voice, heavier now, wept. "I just want to love you." The person was confused. The voice, a little more tired sounding, continued, "I want to know you." A light turned on. "And for you to know me." The person saw a familiar hand emerge from the light, into the light, from the dark. Then another hand, then an arm, another arm, another arm, as each hand pulled at the walls, squeezing the body through. Hands clawing at the walls like teeth gnawing through raw meat. Arms after arms, some smaller than others, some larger than others. The person, terrified, as the body blocked out the light bulb that was turned on, and another light turned on, now illuminating the room the person was in. The body sprouted legs and quickly moved toward the person. The person tried to run, but they couldn't use their arms or legs. The voice, now eerily familiar, uttered, "You are so beautiful." The person now saw the entirety of the body, illuminated by one light bulb. They recognized the hands, they recognized the voice, they recognized the legs, and they recognized the face. They now knew about the body, and you can too. You just have to think about it late at night. The end. Quite a fan of that one, personally. What do you all think? This one makes you feel itchy. It makes you feel itchy? Why so? I quite like that one. You don't think you will you don't think you will think about the body late at night? Is that so? I hope despite the ad break I delivered that one well. These stories all deserve a proper performance. I did? Very good. This is good to hear. I'll have to tell you how I found out about that story right afterward. Going to erase the future thoughts of the body so it doesn't get to you later. Yes, you'll have to control your thoughts. Make sure you don't think about it late at night, especially now with the lights off. Because then it can turn the lights on. Better not think of it when you're lying in bed. Alright. Your turn. No, I won't let you tell the
Which
same
story should I tell? 1. Make up a story. 2. The licking hand. 3. Hand hook car door man. 4. The smiling man.
These 3 prepared stories all come from different kinds of places. One comes from things I heard the story of the licking hand. It was also adapted. The licking hand is also present in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and for this reason it is very well known. 4? Alright. Number 4. Smiling Man. This one's a bit long, but...
About 5 years ago I lived downtown in a major city in the US. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who was decidedly not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and spend the time thinking. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and never once had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommate that even the drug dealers in the city were polite. But all of that changed in just a few minutes of one evening. It was a Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police-patrolled park quite a ways from my apartment. It was a quiet night, even for a weeknight, with very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I turned down a short side street in order to loop back to my apartment when I first noticed him. At the far end of the street, on my side, was the silhouette of a man, dancing. It was a strange dance, similar to a waltz, but he finished each box with an odd forward stride. I guess you could say he was dance walking, headed straight for me. Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped as close as I could to the road to give him the majority of the sidewalk to pass me by. The closer he got, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving. He was very tall and lanky, and wearing an old suit. He danced closer still, until I could make out his face. His eyes were open wide and wild, head tilted back slightly, looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile, I decided to cross the street before he danced any closer. I took my eyes off of him to cross the empty street. As I reached the other side, I glanced back, and then stopped dead in my tracks. He had stopped dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me. He was facing me but still looking skyward. Smile still wide on his lips. I was completely and utterly unnerved by this. I started walking again, but kept my eyes on the man. He didn't move. Once I had put about half a block between us, I turned away from him for a moment to watch the sidewalk in front of me. The street and sidewalk ahead of me were completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone. For the briefest of moments I felt relieved, until I noticed him. He had crossed the street, and was now slightly crouched down. I couldn't tell for sure due to the distance and the shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I had looked away from him for no more than 10 seconds, so it was clear that he had moved fast. I was so shocked that I stood there for some time, staring at him. And then he started moving toward me again. He took giant, exaggerated tiptoed steps, as if he were a cartoon character sneaking up on someone. Except he was moving very, very quickly. I'd like to say at this point I ran away or pulled out my pepper spray or my cell phone or anything at all, but I didn't. I just stood there, completely frozen as the smiling man crept toward me. And then he stopped again, about a car length away from me. Still smiling his smile, still looking to the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. What I meant to ask was, "What do you want?" in an angry, commanding tone. What came out was a whimper, "What?" Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, they can certainly hear it. I heard it in my own voice, and that only made me more afraid. But he didn't react to it at all. He just stood there, smiling. And then, after what felt like forever, he turned around, very slowly, and started dance walking away. Just like that. Not wanting to turn my back to him again. I just watched him go, until he was far enough away to almost be out of sight. And then I realized something. He wasn't moving away anymore, nor was he dancing. I watched in horror as the distant shape of him grew larger and larger. He was coming back my way. And this time he was running. I ran too. I ran until I was off of the side road and back onto a better lit road with sparse traffic. Looking behind me then, he was nowhere to be found. The rest of the way home, I kept glancing over my shoulder, always expecting to see his stupid smile, but he was never there. I lived in that city for 6 months after that night, and I never went out for another walk. There was something about his face that always haunted me. He didn't look drunk, he didn't look high. He looked completely and utterly insane. And that's a very, very scary thing to see.
The end. Classic. Truly. This one, if I remember right, won an award back when it was first released. And for that reason, it was read on the place where I first heard it, which was on the Yogscast Spooktacular. One of them. They've done about 10 Spooktaculars now, or more. That's where I first heard it. Absolutely. Great classic. I'm gonna move myself just a little bit, if I can. Oh. There we go. Now then. Which one should I tell? This one isn't so much an urban legend. This is more akin to a tutorial. It's a ritual, specifically. Actually no, I will tell a story. This one, I don't remember it very clearly either. I might tell this and the ritual. Let's see. So, the story starts. There are 3 girls who are celebrating their friend's birthday. And they're watching videos that people have sent in to celebrate her birthday. And so, you know, they're on their laptop playing the videos. And you know, it's a bunch of people giving good birthday wishes, singing happy birthday. They come on to one video, and they notice that they don't really recognize the person in the video. And they say, oh, who's this? And they play the video, and it's a video of someone singing happy birthday to their friend, but they're whispering for some reason. One of the friends says, oh, that's creepy. Why are they whispering? Yeah, that's weird. And they look to their friend, and their friend was white in the face. They were terrified. And so they asked their friend, what is it? Why do you look so frightened? It's not that creepy, is it? And she said, in the video, that's my room. And they both looked back at the video, at the room. And they thought, it does look quite similar. And the video ended, and the man in the video moved away, and they saw the friend in the background sitting on a chair, and then the video ended. That's the story. I'm sure I'm forgetting some important embellishments. A lot of these stories I'm telling are specifically ones that have been translated from Japanese, and then I'm telling them as I remember them rather than reading them. So there's a lot that's lost. The next thing itself is also from Japan. So the ritual of Hitori Kakurenbo, also called one-person hide-and-seek. This one is also sometimes well known. The origins of Hitori Kakurenbo can be traced back to an online forum in Japan where people shared their experiences with supernatural games. To play Hitori Kakurenbo, participants need a doll, typically a stuffed animal or a traditional Japanese doll, a sharp object like a knife or scissors, a needle, red thread, rice, salt, a bathtub filled with water, and a hiding place. The game is played at night, adding to its eerie atmosphere. The first step in playing Hitori Kakurenbo is to prepare the doll. You must remove all the stuffing and replace it with rice. Then you sew the doll back up using red thread and needle. The red thread is believed to bind the spirit to the doll. Then, after completing this preparation, participants fill the bathtub with water and place the doll inside. Once everything is set up, participants turn off all lights in the house and go to their hiding place. Then, they count to 10 while holding a sharp object in their hand. After counting to 10, they must go find the doll and stab it. And the doll might not be in the place where they left it. They stab it 3 times and say, "I found you." And then they return to their hiding place. The person does. The game begins once the participant returns to their hiding place. They must remain quiet and listen for any sounds of paranormal activity. It said that if the game is successful, the doll will come to life and search for the player. And what do you think it'll do if it finds them? It'll obey the rules that you've established. You take a sharp object, you go find the person who's hiding, and you catch them. The doll may move, make noises, or even try to harm the participant. The objective of the game is to avoid being found by the doll until the end of the game. To end the game, participants must pour salt water into their mouth and spit it out onto the doll. This is believed to banish the spirit from the doll. Then they must burn the doll and discard it properly. It is important to note that Hitori Kakurenbo can be dangerous and should not be taken lightly. The game involves summoning supernatural entities and can potentially lead to negative consequences. Strongly advised not to attempt the game, as it may result in physical or psychological harm. But the whole thing fascinates me, because it's clearly establishing a system of rules that you play with. Messing with spirits is 11 times out of 10 a bad idea. This is very true. It is always a bad idea to mess with spirits. The dead should be at rest. You shouldn't rile them up and play games with them. I think that's a fairly common knowledge. But you know, people will play this game. They always will. Let's see. So then, it goes back to you. It's your turn again.
Which story should I tell? 1. Make up a story. 2. The licking hand. 3. Hand hook car door man. 4. The smiling man.
So your choices are to make up a story, or hand hook car door man, the legendary horror story. And I'll be sure to let you choose all of these options. Granted, make up a story is more of a joke. Both of these are kind of jokes. Really, all 4 of these are jokes. One of these is a Yogscast reference for me. Another is a reference to a story from Reddit. That one is Hand Hook Car Doorman. Then, well, the licking hand isn't really a joke. That's just, well, it is kind of a joke because it's a JoJo's reference. And then make up a story is mostly a joke about the predictability of horror stories. But you'll have to see what I mean. You're gonna do a real coin flip. Alright. We respect it. Three. Alright. We respect it. We will do this. Hand hook.
Man and girl go out to drive under moonlight. They stop on a side of road. He turn to his girl and say, "Baby, I love you very much."
Oh, and this is completely unedited, of course.
"What is it, honey?" "Our car is broken down. I think the engine is broken. I'll walk and get some more fuel." "Okay. I'll stay here and look after our stereo. There have been news report of stairs being stolen." "Good idea. Keep the doors locked no matter what. I love you, sweaty." So the guy left to get full for the car. After 2 hours the girl say, "Where is my baby? He was supposed to be back by now." Then the girl hear a scratching sound and a voice say, "Let me in." The girl doesn't do it, and then after a while she goes to sleep. The next morning she wakes up and finds her boyfriend still not there. She gets out to check and man door hand hook car door.
That's the story. Oh my goodness, hello Vanday. Oh my goodness, 20 months! Jesus Christ. Oh my, thank you so much. Monarch Room Television. Yes, this is a classic story. And I'll let y'all build the story now. Or no, I should tell one, and then I'll let you build the story. Yeah, we're telling scary stories right now. Welcome in, Vanday. I'm so glad you could join us. Get that cremini. Delicious and nutritious, as they say. Let's see, which story should I tell? Got a chuckle out of the "I love you, sweaty." Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely a classic. Oh, which one should I do? I gotta search through my mental library now, because I've already gone through most of the ones I had on hand. I say on hand, I'm still remembering them from what I can recall. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this one, I wasn't originally going to tell this one, but since I'm running out of material a little bit. So, story goes, so this is also set in Japan, like a lot of the other stories I've told are. So it's on a train, and follows the perspective of this man, and he says, I was on the train, and I saw a girl getting, I thought I might have seen a girl getting harassed by someone. So I sent her a text message saying, shake your head if they're bothering you. And she looked at her phone, she looked a little confused, and then she shook her head. So I ran up, I grabbed the person's hand, and I said, hey, this person is a pervert. And other people helped me, and we got them off the train. Afterward, the girl thanked me in quite a formal manner. Before leaving. Then it ends saying, I think I'll take the long way home again today. Now, what's wrong with this story? Where's the trick? I'll give you a moment to see if you can figure it out. This one I will tell you, because the story doesn't really work without it. Oh, and I should see if there's an ad coming up. Nope, we got 10 minutes. You feel like you missed a part. Yeah. It feels incomplete, doesn't it? But I was very careful with my wording to make sure all the important details are there. You have to read a little in between the lines. Because also think, if this is a story from Japan, what does it mean if the girl thanks this man in a very formal way, that, for one thing, it means that the girl doesn't know this person. They're not friends or anything like that. So then how did he have her phone number to send her a message telling her to shake her head? And then what did he mean he would take the long way home tonight again? Oh, and I remember now, this story, I think, is called something like Creep. I think the answer is a lot easier to figure out now. The character we're following, the boy, is stalking the girl. That's why he has the phone number. And that's why he's taking the long way home tonight. Because he's going to follow her. Not my favorite of the stories, but still, I think a good punchline. You know, they say that horror and jokes have a similar structure. You have the build-up, and you have the punchline, also called the climax. All stories must have a climax, I suppose. It's a common feature, if they're good anyway. A story without a climax is just well, that's not quite true. Not every story needs a climax, but it's gotta have detail. Your brain struggled to connect the parts. These are thinkers, lots of them. Then, you get to build a story.
1. It a dark and stormy night. 2. It was a night much like this one. 3. Long ago.
Make your choice. How does the story start? 3. I'm just gonna go with the first ones. Alright. So long ago.
There was a 1 person in the woods. 2 group around a fireplace. 3 person home alone.
Long ago, there was a group around a fireplace.
They 1 were hunted by a scary monster. 2 spoke to a person who died years ago. 3 were dead the whole time.
Wait. Is that a vote for 3, or are we going with 1? Alright.
Long ago, there was a group around a fireplace. They were hunted by a scary monster. The end.
A very simple story. Wonderful. Peak fiction, they say. Ah, wonderful. Straight to the point. Your brain can understand that one. There we go. I'm thinking right now if I should tell you the answer to that one story that was had an unsure conclusion about the group of ghost hunting people. Or is it hunting ghost people? The hunters, we'll call them. The hunters who like to talk to ghosts. I don't think I will. I think it's more fun for me to know that your mind will sit there late at night or throughout a day, and it will wander aimlessly. Where's the punchline with that story? What's wrong with it? Why didn't they find any ghosts in that house? And then they just say, oh, we'll go to the house that we saw on our way here. even though there's people living in it. There is one more story I could tell, but it doesn't really work unless it's written out in front of you, since a lot of these stories started as, you know, forum posts on Japanese horror forums, like Futaba. Hmm. Well then. I was trying to think. I was trying to think of a third thing we could do. A game that I could play here camping, which somehow involves me as a participant, as well as each of you individually, regardless of how many of you there are. But everything I came to didn't quite work in a way I was satisfied with anyway. And I do think here in Sheol, oh, the days are moving quite fast. It might almost be dawn. Feel the singular gear in your head turning for that story. There we go. I think it's almost dawn.
The sun is about to rise. I guess I'll see you under the next moon, Akra.
Yes, I suppose so. See you next night.
Do you know why we came to the mountains, Akra?
I do have some idea why we're here, but it's not something that's fun to talk about. Maybe I'll tell you about it some other time. It is a bit of a horror story in itself. Oh. Leaving us so soon? I'm quite sorry, yes. I would have liked to have more material, but I'm not really content to just sit here telling scary stories all night. We could do something else. Camp on my night till I don't know. Hello, Sasha. I was going to do one more run so you all can choose a different... Oh, ad break. Akra should give you a kiss? Hmm. That's denying you a funny moment. Yeah. Truly unfortunate. But I know what I can do, actually. Oh, I forgot my mouse is broken. But let me zoom in. Wait, where am I? Where am I? Oh, whoops. Fucking... Where's the fucking camera? Huh. Where the fuck did I go? I gotta restart. Give me a moment. I messed things up. I was trying to do something funny. No, I can still do it. Hold on. Bah. You did succeed at the mushroom. No, mushroom? I made the mistake again. You succeeded at the marshmallow cooking, so mwah, mwah, mwah. There you go. And I'll send you on one more run around the route. So you can make new choices. Oh.
It's getting dark, I try to head to the fire pit. Good thing I have my flashlight. The paths are overgrown, completely reclaimed by the nature around the campsite. Which way was the fire pit? 1. I hear birds singing to the left. 2. Down the middle I see pitch black. 3. I see a light and hear a voice on the right. I follow the light and head towards the voice. It mutters. By the light of Kaya, until the reunion, in her name. The twin emanations of the broken light bind themselves to a simple law. Otherwise, there would be an endless war between them. The denier and the acceptor. The preserver and the destroyer. Dionysus and Apollo. Too many names for such simple things. Defense mechanisms. Both given an ego and an ID, given names. But sharing the same body and the same soul. The voice repeats the phrase endlessly. It is an olofungus, It repeats things it has heard before when wind flows through it. Holo is invasive, but statement would falsely imply that anything in the campground is natural. This planet, Zaria, did not have trees with green leaves. Mono bred primitive herbs for long ages until they resembled something they had seen in a dream. The flora cannot think, but it can know. I find the life. It's just a glowing fungus. Should I? 1. Eat the glowing fungus. 2. Head to the fire pit. I eat the fungus. I don't feel anything. What now? Should I head to the fire pit or head back? One, head back / N2, go to the fire pit. Fire pit. I finally find the fire pit. Looks like the fire hasn't started yet. Though I think I see a crew preparing to start the fire.
Bah. We've already gone through this part, though. Oh, hello. Yes. I am sorry for those late arrivals. Can you get that kiss? I gave you the kiss already. Don't tell me you missed it. Oh, awful. Awful. You were in ads? No, I waited till the ads were done. And you weren't there. Hmm. Hmm. You'll have to go back in the VOD. But that's all for today. I'm quite sorry for you, all of you who arrived rather late. This is the curse with these streams, and it is many-fold with this format. In order to make your choices matter, I have to make it so there are many things you don't get to see, things you don't get to hear, secrets you don't get to know, and I still have to make all of it. Which means, for all the effort I put into one Camping with Mono stream, it only amounts to a few minutes of actual content. And I'm so proud that I managed to get it to extend for even 2 hours. It's all a ploy so you watch the VOD. Oh, what are you saying? Oh, no, you gotta go watch the VOD. Because also, for those of you who arrived late, you have to see what you missed. Because we didn't just go down one path. Because of some technical difficulties, we had 3 routes. 2 of them went down the same initial path. Which was left. 2 went left, and then they diverged at some point. Probably, Will, you're like 2 hours late? Yes. And this is the very sad thing. It's hard to prepare anything for the latecomers. This is why on the previous one, we played Minecraft afterward to pad the time. And why for this one I decided to tell scary stories, because I figured that would take up more time. And I think it did. And you all got to experience one route, the right path. There's all sorts of fun little things I prepared. But there's only one day of the camping trip left now. The dawn with Orr. I'm sure that Orr will take you on quite the journey. Until dawn. Oh my goodness. This isn't a ski lodge, though. That's how you know. And I'm not a Wendigo. The Wendigo is in the woods. In between the trees. When we were telling scary stories, it was running through the trees. Or wait, you're not supposed to say the name of the creature. My apologies. Oh, that doesn't stop them from saying it in the game, so I'll excuse myself this once. I also find it interesting. It's like Voldemort. Yes. He who shall not be named. Funny how that's switched. And now the writer is she who shall not be named. Somehow worse. A worse villain overall. Anyway, enough of that. I suppose we could try to play something while I have you all here. But I don't really have the energy for it. So instead I want to egg you all on a little bit. Just kidding, Rowling, yes. Did any of you look very closely at the poster for this stream? Because the secret word is there. The secret word for the Amethyst Deceiver. My favorite mushroom, as Okra. You didn't see it. I didn't think so. But if you look closely, you might be able to notice something, and whoever notices it first will be able to post the bit of text, and they'll be able to claim the Amethyst Deceiver for tonight. may have to look quite closely and pay attention to a very minor detail. There you go! Follow the birds, and they shall lead you to the Taralim. Excellent. Oh, excellent. Oh, yes. Thumbnail for you was just a question mark. Oh, no. Awful. You instinctively knew to follow the birds, it seems. Yes. The blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Which, I won't actually get into the meaning of that here. But at least you can get this. There you go. The golden halo. Very good. And I think we must find someone we can raid before we stream too long and someone raids us while I have nothing left to do. I suppose I'd have to find a little game to play. Let's see. Oh, it's Yodadis's birthday. Let's go raid Yodadis. Or technically it's her birthday bash. There we go. Yodadis is an 18+ streamer. So if that's not the content you're looking for, that's understandable, but I want to give that warning before we go. Of course. Actually, let's do a special raid message. Let's say follow the birds. That'll be the raid message. Follow the birds. And also make sure to wish her a happy birthday as part of the birthday bash. Very good. You all have a wonderful time. Thank you ever so much for tuning in today. I very much appreciate it. I can't say exactly when the last one will be. It'll be a few days since I want to prepare a little bit more. Mostly audio stuff. Yes, farewell. Have fun solving the mysteries. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And for those of you watching the VOD, oh wow.
Portal, welcome Raiders.
Yeah, your Risk of Rain 2, the character you play as the most in Risk of Rain.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, Misha joined. Alright. It's a
I play
start.
everyone.
Hello! Mwah! Welcome on in, Raiders. I'm Yodadis, shapeshifter from another dimension, currently in my Firefox 4, playing some Risk of Rain 2. We're getting a bunch of people loaded up here for the birthday bash. I hope you all had a good
Keep a
time.
careful
You were
eye
doing
on
some
the
special
woods.
events.
You
What
might
was
see
the special
something you
event?
didn't
Is
notice
it
was
bird
there.
related?